Hi, welcome back. Hayes' World of Math. We're going to talk about the basics of rational equations and how to solve them. These are my learning cards that we have come up with. I shouldn't say my learning cards, the learning cards we've come up with here at school. There's links below so where you can find your own and some blank ones if you want to modify them. I'll also include a link to the actual lesson on rational equations. So hopefully if you need something a little bit more in depth, you can go through and do that. So first things first. First strategy of things that you're going to go through and do is that we're going to go through and we're going to find common denominator. And we're going to note the potential domain issues. I'm going to zoom in just here. Now, as I know many of you either have problems with factoring or you have, if you're a teacher, having students who have problems with factoring, the one thing I always tell my students on problems like this, they're going to be kind of interspersed. So since like this right side's already factored, I would pretty much guarantee that the two denominators here are going to break down into some combination of x plus 3 and the quantity of x plus 5 and the quantity of x minus 2. So this is going to be my x plus 3, x plus 5. This over here is going to be x plus 3 and x minus 2. Now, note, x cannot equal a 2, the negative 3, or the negative 5. And again, I'm getting those because what I'm doing is I'm taking this, and each of these I'm going to just set equal to 0 and solve. Okay? So then I would get, just wait for it. There you go. And then you just solve it if you don't know the shortcut already. All right. And so when we get our final answers, that's what we're going to have to check against. Okay. So now we're going to rewrite each rational with our common denominator. And then after we do that, once the denominators are all equal, we can then set the numerators equal. And then we're going to go through and solve it. Because remember, what ends up happening down here is that if A over C is equal to B over C, that means that these two have to be the same thing. That's the only way that that works. So once you get common denominators all set, that's where we're going to go and start solving things out. Okay? So again, we'll come back up here, slide over. So we need a common denominator. I am missing on this first one, x minus 2. On the second one, I'm missing the x plus 5. So I'm going to put that up there. And then on the last one, we already have the common denominator, so we don't need to worry about that. So now that I've got a common denominator here and here and here, then what we're going to do is we're going to come back and just set the numerators equal to each other. So this would be step 3. This is going to be number 3. So I'm going to take x times x minus 2 plus 3 times x plus 5 is equal to 21. There we go. And then you're going to solve it like you would do normally. I would get x squared minus 2x, 3x, 15 equals to 21. This side. And again, depending upon what your teacher has, it's fine to skip some steps here. I am writing everything out to ensure that if you have any questions, you can see what's going on. So then we've got a quadratic. This one happens to factor, which makes life a lot easier. I'm going to get x plus 3, x minus 2 is equal to 0. So x is going to equal negative 3. X is going to equal 2. Now, we do have to check this up over here. Because again, notice what, So now notice x equals -3 is one of my solutions. However, we said it can't equal -3 because that was one of the things that would make the denominator equal to 0. X equals 2, we'll do the same thing up over here. So there is actually no solution, okay, because of that. So again, just to fill this out, just to make sure, check answers against, let's call them the domain issues. I sometimes call them problem children. Okay. So with that being said, that's the whole basic setup. Now, obviously, you can go through and get a little bit different in terms of setups on these things. However, that hopefully will get you through a good example to have in your learning card folder and ready to rock and roll. Okay? We will see you next time. Talk to you soon.